My husband asked me to host his mother's 60th birthday. I spent weeks planning every detail. When she arrived, she looked around and said, "Did a child do this?" I held back tears as she replaced every centerpiece. Then, during the toast, she raised her glass and said, "To the woman who should have been our daughter-in-law, who still could be." Everyone turned to look at his ex, standing in the back. My husband smiled. "I invited her," he said. "You okay?" "My name is Tara, and I live in Norwalk, Connecticut. It's quiet here, mostly families and older folks. I met Aaron 9 years ago at a company happy hour. He was charming, confident, and funny in a dry kind of way. I fell fast. We got married 2 years later. From the beginning, his mother didn't like me. Her name's Barbara, and she's the kind of woman who looks you up and down before saying hello. The first time I met her, she asked if I planned to quit my job after the wedding. I told her no, I liked working. She smiled like I'd said I planned to drown her grandchild. Aaron always said, "That's just how she is." I learned early on that how she is meant judgmental, cold, and obsessed with his ex-girlfriend, Melissa. They dated for 3 years in college, and Barbara acted like Melissa had died and become a saint. I heard her name so often I could predict when Barbara would bring her up, usually when I made some small mistake. But I was raised to be polite. I smiled. I baked pies for holidays. I bit my tongue through years of side eyes and backhanded compliments. Then Aaron came home one night and said, "Hey, Mom's turning 60 in a few months. Think you could plan something for her?" I blinked. "You want me to throw your mom a party?" He gave me that little smile. "You're good at that stuff." It wasn't a question. It was an assignment. And, like a fool, I said yes. I took it seriously. I wanted to show her I could do something thoughtful, even after all the crap she'd put me through. I booked a cozy, upscale event space by the water in Southport. Barbara loved ocean views, so I made sure the windows faced the marina. The theme was navy and gold, her favorite colors. I ordered custom centerpieces, tall glass hurricanes with floating candles, real baby's breath, and gold trim. I even made little name cards for each guest in calligraphy. I don't even know calligraphy. I spent 3 hours on YouTube just to get it right. I planned every detail: food, flowers, seating charts. I tasted wines, designed a signature cocktail, made sure her old friends were invited. All out of my own pocket. Aaron barely noticed. He didn't even offer to help. Just nodded when I gave him updates like he was too busy to care. The night of the party, I wore a simple navy dress, did my hair and makeup myself, and got there early to make sure everything was perfect. Then Barbara arrived. She stepped in wearing a floor-length gold dress, hair styled high, fake lashes like spider legs. She took one slow look around the room, at the decorations, the centerpieces, the lights, then narrowed her eyes like she'd smelled something sour. "Did a child do this?" That's what she said, loud enough for everyone nearby to hear. Her voice had that fake sweet tone she used when she wanted to cut you while smiling. I laughed a little, nervously. I tried to keep it simple and elegant. "You don't like it?"
She didn't answer me.
Just pulled out her phone, walked to the side, and made a call. I thought maybe she was being rude, until two of her friends came in 10 minutes later carrying boxes. They walked table to table and replaced my centerpieces. They took mine off the tables and threw them back into the shipping boxes. Then set down these awful gold statues, some kind of faux Greek thing, and cheap silk roses.
They didn't ask me. Didn't even look at me.
I stared at Aaron, who was chatting with his uncle near the bar, drink in hand. He saw it happening. He saw me standing there, stunned, not moving. He turned back to his drink. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw the stupid centerpieces into the ocean. But I didn't. I smiled at guests. I made sure everyone had wine. I checked with the caterer. I held it together, because that's what I always did. I even stood behind Barbara when she cut her damn cake. Then came the toast. Aaron was up front, standing beside her. His arm was around her shoulders. She clinked her fork to her glass, and everyone turned toward her. "Thank you all for coming," she said. 60 is a big one. I didn't think I'd want a party, but someone insisted. She nodded at Aaron. I smiled. And I have to say, she paused for effect, her eyes scanning the room. There's someone here tonight who made me believe in real love. Someone who should have been our daughter-in-law who still could be. It felt like someone knocked the air out of me. Everyone turned. And then I heard it, heels on tile. Melissa walked in from the back. Red dress, glossy hair, that same smug smirk she used to post all over Facebook when she and Aaron were together. She raised her glass. Aaron smiled. Not a polite smile. A real smile. The kind I hadn't seen from him in months. I invited her, he said. Then looked at me. You okay? I stared at him. I wanted to cry. I wanted to throw the glass at the wall. But instead, I looked him in the eye and smiled. Of course. Because in that second I knew exactly what they wanted.
They wanted me to fall apart.
They wanted me to cry, scream, leave. So I didn't. I stayed the rest of the party, smiling, laughing, even complimenting Melissa's dress. I hugged guests as they left and handed out party favors. But the next morning I started planning something else. My own revenge. And this time, they wouldn't see it coming. After that night, something in me snapped. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just went cold. Quiet. Focused. I started noticing everything, things I had ignored before. How Aaron never said thank you. How he took over the TV every night. How he left his laundry for me. How he never stood up for me, even when Barbara was cruel right in front of him. I also noticed how often he smiled at his phone. How he kept it face down on the table. How he suddenly had late meetings at work 3 nights a week. So I started digging. I didn't want to believe it, not at first.
But it didn't take long.
I found a second phone in his briefcase, an old iPhone with no password.
And in it,
texts to Melissa. Not old ones. New ones. Flirty ones. Late-night ones. One of them said, I wish things were different. Maybe they still can be. Another said, she doesn't even see me anymore. I laughed. Out loud. Because for years I bet myself around this man. I made his mother's birthday perfect. I threw dinner parties. I dressed how he liked. And the whole time, he was chasing a woman who left him a decade ago. And now I was done. But I wasn't going to just leave.
No.
That would be too easy for him. I wanted him to feel it. So I started acting.
Playing the part.
I made his favorite dinners. Rubbed his shoulders. Asked about his day. I was sweet. Loving. Patient. I even left a little note in his car one morning. I'm so lucky to have you. He smiled when he found it. He had no idea. Because behind his back, I was gathering everything. I met with a lawyer. Quietly. I copied his phone records. Took screenshots of the texts. Made a full list of financial accounts. Turns out he'd been moving money into a private account for 6 months. I had proof of that, too. Then I reached out to Melissa.
Yep.
I sent her a message from a fake Instagram account. Told her I was a wedding planner. Asked if she'd be interested in helping with a proposal party. She was thrilled. Said she loved surprises. So I planned one. It would be held at the same event space where we threw Barbara's party. I told her it would be intimate, just close family and friends. She said she couldn't wait. Even asked what color she should wear. I told her red. Meanwhile, I had Barbara thinking I was planning a vow renewal for Aaron and me. Told her I wanted to win her over, finally. She was delighted. Even offered to help with decorations. I let her. So for 2 months, I watched them all walk into my trap. Aaron, smiling at his phone, probably texting Melissa. Barbara, sending me Pinterest boards. Melissa getting her nails done for the big surprise. And then the night came. Same venue. Same navy and gold. Everyone showed up. Even some of Aaron's coworkers. People were confused. It wasn't our anniversary, wasn't my birthday. But they came for the free wine. Aaron showed up with a big smile. What's all this? I kissed him on the cheek. You'll see. Barbara came in next, beaming, hugging me. So glad you came to your senses, dear. Then Melissa walked in, wearing a tight red dress, her hair curled, makeup perfect. She was confused. I handed her a glass of champagne. Just enjoy. Then I stood in the center of the room and raised my glass. Thank you all for coming tonight. I have a few things to say. Aaron looked a little worried. I smiled. I wanted to celebrate love. Real love. The kind that's honest, loyal, respectful. The kind I thought I had. A murmur. But lately, I've realized I was wrong. I reached behind the table and grabbed a folder.
Thick. Heavy.
In this folder are screenshots, messages, financial records, proof of a man who's been lying, proof of a family who treated me like dirt while I smiled through it. I handed the folder to Aaron in front of everyone. His face went white. Barbara gasped. Melissa looked like she might faint. But I wasn't done. This isn't a vow renewal. This is a goodbye party. I turned to Barbara. You once told me I'd never be part of this family. You were right, and I thank you for that. Then, to Melissa.
He's all yours.
Just know, you'll never be enough for her either. And then I walked out. That night, I checked into a hotel I'd already booked. My bags were packed a week ago. The divorce papers were ready. My lawyer would send them the next morning. And as I lay in bed, sipping wine and watching TV, my phone buzzed. A text from Aaron. It said, "Why are you doing this?" I didn't respond. I just blocked him. The next morning, I woke up to over 20 missed calls and texts. Aaron, Barbara, even Melissa. Some were angry. Some were desperate. Some were pathetic. Aaron, we need to talk. You embarrassed me. How could you do that to me? Come home. Let's fix this. I didn't reply. Instead, I forwarded everything to my lawyer. But what I didn't expect was how public things would get. Apparently, someone at the party had recorded my entire speech and posted it online. I hadn't planned for that. I didn't even know it was being filmed. But someone, probably one of Aaron's coworkers, uploaded it to TikTok. And it blew up. Hundreds of thousands of views. Thousands of comments. Mostly people cheering me on. This is how you leave trash. The calm tone is what makes it hit harder. She walked out like a damn queen. It didn't take long for someone to figure out who Aaron was. He worked in commercial real estate, a firm in Stanford. They prided themselves on family values. Their website even had his photo under Trusted Professionals. Not anymore. 2 days after the video went viral, his profile was gone. Word was, a few angry clients pulled deals when they saw how he'd treated his wife. Especially since some of them knew me. I hadn't planned for that fallout. But I wasn't sad about it. Then Barbara called. I don't know why I answered. Maybe I wanted to hear her voice crack. Tara, she said, her voice tight, I hope you're happy. You've humiliated my son. You've ruined your marriage over what? Some text messages. I didn't say a word.
She went on.
You were always too sensitive. Too dramatic. And now you've made yourself look like a fool. I finally spoke. Barbara, you humiliated me. Over and over. You lied to my face. You invited her to your party and made a toast to the woman who should have been your daughter-in-law. That was a joke, she hissed. No, I said. It was your truth. And now you get to live with the results. I hung up. The thing is, I thought that would be the end of it. But it wasn't. A week later, I got a message on Facebook. It was from Melissa's ex-husband. I'd forgotten she'd been married. She never talked about him much. Just said it didn't work out. His message was short. Hey. I saw the video. I think we should talk. There's something you need to know. I replied. We met at a coffee shop in Bridgeport the next day. His name was Sean. Quiet guy. Wore a Red Sox cap, even though we were in Connecticut. He sat down and said, I'm sorry about what she did. And I think you should know. Melissa was cheating during our marriage too.
But it wasn't just any guy.
It was Aaron. I blinked. What? He nodded. About 5 years ago. I found texts. Same crap. Wish things were different. I still think about you. I confronted her. She denied it. But I know it was him. I felt my stomach twist. So this wasn't just some emotional affair that happened recently. It had history.
It had depth.
They never stopped. They just paused. Which meant everything I thought I had with Aaron, everything we built, was probably a lie. For years. I thanked Sean, gave him my lawyer's contact in case we needed him for anything, and left. And that's when the next twist hit. A woman reached out to me on Instagram. I didn't recognize her name, but the message caught my eye.
Hey.
I saw your video. Just wanted to say, you're not alone. I was seeing Aaron too. On and off. I didn't know he was married until last month. She sent screenshots, DMs, photos of them at restaurants. Aaron had been cheating with multiple women. Melissa wasn't the only one. I sat in silence, staring at my phone. And I realized it wasn't just about getting revenge anymore. This man was dangerous. Not physically, but emotionally. He made women feel seen, then used them.
Lit.
Manipulated. And walked away like he did nothing wrong. Now, I had a choice. I could walk away with my dignity and let it all fade, or I could finish what I started. I chose the second. I wasn't done. Not even close. After hearing from Melissa's ex-husband and that other woman on Instagram, I realized Aaron had a pattern. He didn't just hurt me. He used women, lied to them, and left a mess behind. I'd wasted 7 years trying to be good enough for a man who was never even decent. I decided to end this the way it deserved. The first thing I did was build a file. I printed every message, every photo, every receipt, every DM and screenshot. I organized them all like a damn case file. It took me a week. I even gave it a name, the Aaron Archive. Then, I emailed it to every contact in his company's leadership directory. The partners, the PR team, the HR rep he used to flirt with at holiday parties. I added a short note. Your employee has a long pattern of using women, lying to clients, and bringing public shame to your company. Here's proof.
Do what you want with it.
Just thought you should know. I didn't sign my name. Then I made a second version. This one went to Barbara's bridge club, her church mailing list. Yep, she bragged about being the women's leader. And every relative on the family tree who had ever smiled to my face while whispering behind my back. In it, I included the party video, plus a detailed timeline of all the lies, insults, and betrayals. I kept the tone calm.
Norai.
Just facts. Cold and clean. And finally, I did one last thing. I sent Melissa a package. Inside was a printed copy of Aaron's text to the other woman. The one he'd been seeing, while still chasing Melissa. On top of it, I placed a note. You thought you were special.
So did I.
So did she. I never heard back from her. But I heard about the fallout. Aaron lost his job officially 2 days later. I don't know if it was my email or the clients who pulled out, but he was fired. No severance. No chance of rehire. Barbara tried to spin it. Told her church group it was a business restructuring. But someone else in the group had already seen the documents I sent. She lost her speaking spot at their next fundraiser. People stopped returning her calls. Melissa's Instagram went quiet. No more gym selfies. No more motivational quotes. And me? I moved into a small apartment in Stamford, near the water. Quiet building. Nice neighbors. I got a new job, nothing fancy, office assistant for a dental clinic. But I like it. It's peaceful. My money is my own.
My time is my own.
A few weeks later, Aaron tried again. He showed up at my building.
I don't know how he found me.
Probably through one of his creepy contacts. He looked smaller. Not thinner. Just smaller. Like the confidence had been ripped off him. He held out his hands like he expected something. Can we talk? I didn't move. He stepped closer. You didn't have to do all that. You could have just left. I stared at him. You could have just loved me. He looked like he wanted to cry. I shut the door in his face. That was 6 months ago. He hasn't come back since. Sometimes people ask me if I regret what I did. I don't. Maybe I should. Maybe revenge isn't the best way. Maybe I could have just walked away with my head high. But I didn't want him walking around thinking he won. I didn't want Barbara to believe she'd broken another woman without consequences. I wanted them all to see what it felt like when the person they pushed around finally pushed back. And now, I sleep fine. I still have the centerpieces from that party in my closet. The ones Barbara replaced. Sometimes I light a candle in one and drink a glass of wine, just because. Not to remember the pain, but to remind myself I survived. And I finished it my way.